So most of guitar players probably think there's only one way to connect the Valeton GP-5, but the manual just shows 6 different setups that completely change your sound. Hi, I'm George, and I'm here today just to break down with you every connection method so you can find the perfect setup for your rig. Let's start with the most common question. How to use the GP-5 with analog existing pedals? Here's what the manual just shows us. So you've got two options here. First, the TRS stereo cable if you want to maintain the GP-5's stereo effects. Connect your guitar to your pedals first, then into the GP-5's input. Second option, Y cable setup. You can blend your analog pedals with the GP-5's digital effects. TRS connector on one end and two TS connectors on the other. You can probably use this cable in a FR speaker, because it's stereo from the Valeton GP-5 to the speaker, so you can have the full advantage of the stereo. You can connect, for example, a TRS cable from an headphones directly into the GP-5. You can use it for practice just directly to the headphones. This is where the GP-5 just really shines, full studio integration. So you're connecting the GP-5 to your audio interface, then studio monitors and headphones. So this just gives you the full frequency response of the amp and the cab simulations. This is the power plant that is feeding all of these pedals. My guitar is connected to the wireless transmitter, the X5. It goes from the X5 to the Ibanez, that is the overdrive. Then it goes to the Valeton GP-5 and then to the delay. It goes from mono till the GP-5. Then you have a TRS cable that splits into two ways here. Then it goes out in stereo as well to my audio interface and then to my DAW. In my DAW I can show you in a second how I do it and how I record it. The distortion pedals should be before the Valeton GP-5 because it's tone shaping. After the Valeton GP-5, then you can connect delays, reverb, everything that it's stereo. So here you can see the effect going from one side to the other with this connection, with this type of connection. So in the DAW you have the two ways, you just have to trigger the both at the same time, because I have this one on the input 1 and the second one on the input 2, because I just have two inputs on my audio interface and I have to trigger the both at the same time so I can record the both at the same time. To really feel the stereo effects, you just have to put one for the left, the other one for the right. This way it's just better for recording with delay and reverb, so you can have the pan effect. Which pedal setup are you running? Drop in the comments. But what if you just want to use your actual guitar amp, like mine? So the manual just shows this simple connection. So you connect directly to your amp's input. But here's the critical setting. You have to turn off the amp and cab modules in the GP-5. You're using just your real amp's preamp and speaker. This way you just get the GP-5's effects, the delays, the reverbs, the modulation, but your amp's natural tone. It's like having a professional pedal board. We have the same setup as before, from the Valeton GP-5 to the Jiggy Delay. Basically the same connections as before, even though it doesn't matter really for this connection, because the guitar is plugged in as mono, so we're not going to take advantage of the stereo because I'm connected here as mono, going here directly to the amp. This is the most common setup. This is just perfect for players who love their amp tone but want more effects options. Effects loop method. Okay, so now here's where it gets really interesting. Using your amp's effects loop. Let's just check the diagram. Here you are bypassing your amp's preamp section and just using the GP-5's EQ, modulation, delay and reverb. You connect from your amp sense to the GP-5's input, then GP-5 output to your amp return. The beauty here is you get your amp's natural preamp distortion, then the GP-5's processes it with pristine digital effects. It's just like having a rack unit. Here I connect from the send of the effects loop of my amplifier. It comes directly to the GP-5, and now I'm gonna connect from the output of the GP-5 in mono directly to the return of the amp. So this way, just using the spatial effects of the Valeton GP-5. So for the effects loop, you have to just knock it off the cab and the amp, because you just want to use the effects. Actually, I'm gonna turn it off, all of them. We're just gonna use some delay and some reverb. Distortion, no. Let's try it out. This is how the pros do it. Are you using your preamp's effects loop? Now just for the real pros. This is just for players who want the most realistic amp simulation. You're placing your GP-5s before your amp's preamp, but using the effects loop return. This just gives you the GP-5's amps modeling hitting your real power amp and speakers. Or hitting the speakers and the amp. It sounds complicated, but the result is incredible. You just get the GP-5's amp sims with your cabinet's actual speaker response. The best of both worlds. You're just gonna connect your guitar to the Valeton GP-5, and then you're gonna connect the output, and from the output you're gonna connect it to the return of the effects loop amplifier. I'm just gonna grab the amp, grab the distortion, yellow overdrive, and I'm gonna play. Digital integration. Finally, the setup that's perfect for content creators. The USB connection for recording and live stream. Here you connect the GP-5 via USB to your computer. Now you just can record directly into your DAW, live stream with perfect audio, even use the Bluetooth for backing tracks. Zero latency, monitoring through the headphone output, full stereo recording into Logic Pro, and a plus, the Bluetooth means I can jam along the Spotify. So we already connected the USB to the Valeton GP-5. We're gonna use it as a sound card here in Logic. I want to record directly to my DAW from the USB. So if you don't have a sound card, really, you have it all in here. Settings, audio. So I'm gonna choose the GP-5 input, use the MacBook Pro speakers. Imagine that you don't have monitors. You don't need anything more than the GP-5 just to start playing. As you can see, you have plenty of options. You have it all on the series. What's cool here is how different each setup just feels. Same unit, totally different results depending on where you plug it. Well, for me, the studio setup just fits my workflow the best. But I've been surprised how good the FX loop method just sounds through a real amp. There's no single right way to use this thing. It just depends on what kind of player you are and what gear you already have. I love to hear how you're running yours. Are you going direct, using pedals, or plugging into an amp? Let me know down in the comments. Please subscribe for more content like this. See you on the next one.